Hello, company, and welcome to Show People, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the UK performing arts industry and those dedicated to their craft, covering the latest news and issues, what to see and do, showcasing theatrical talent, and of course, always trying to inform, educate, and entertain. My name is Andrew Keates. I am a director and your host. Now have I got a wicked guest for you. He's an actor who's possibly best known for playing Fiyero in the West End production of Wicked, not to mention Enjolras in Les Miserables, the Rum Tum Tugger in the National Tour of Cats, Raoul in Phantom of the Opera, Sky in Mamma Mia, Robert in Company, and he's currently appearing in Knights of the Rose at the Arts Theatre. Please go mad for the one, the only, Mr. Oliver Savile! Hi, Oliver.
Hi. Coming up on today's show, I'll be getting my theatrical tips out of things to see this September 2018. On the platform, we have a song from Therapy, the musical by Ray Rackham and Jordan Lee Smith. And of course, I'll be interviewing Ollie Savile all about his life, career, and setting him some infamous Show People podcast challenges too. You are listening to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates and Oliver Savile! Welcome to the show, Oliver Savile.
Thank you.
Was that exciting for you?
I loved that. I loved all of that.
So let's start straight away. Knights of the Rose.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. I feel a bit awkward turtle at the moment in that I know some people have seen the show and they have had a fantastic night out, but I've also read some reviews.
Yes.
What's going on? What's the truth of Knights of the Rose, Ollie Savile?
People have had a great night out. It is a great bit of theatre for the fact that the cast are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
clearly you're in it.
No, not that at all. But it's been an interesting project.
There has been some really tough reviews that have gone out. Mm-hmm. Really, really cutting, stabbing things. And regardless of whether you personally love the piece or loathe the piece or whatever, how is it as a company to still go out there night after night after night, knowing that there is that stuff on the internet where people have clearly, pardon the pun, shoved a sword in your gut?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
But nothing that was said in those reviews was personally at the cast. And actually some of them, I agree with what they said maybe about the piece, but I don't agree with what they said about maybe our writer Jenny. Yeah. I think that was a personal attack that it wasn't very nice to read. Yeah. And I imagine her having to read that. That was heartbreaking. And regardless of the story being flawed or not, that wasn't nice to read to somebody who you've known for 4 weeks, regardless of if they've done a good job or not. That's what I didn't agree with. Again, nothing was said personally about, and I've had a bad review before, and it knocked me for 6. Yeah.
Being in a show that is so controversial that people are talking about or people don't understand, and I tell you what, I can't get off a tube without you smiling at me on a poster. Like, your face is everywhere. But have you found that funny enough, a group of knights, have you sort of found camaraderie and chivalry and sort of bounded together in the adversity of this beast that is the Knights of the Rose?
Yeah, the cast are insane. Like, we have really, really... And I've made some friends for life. And you do in most jobs, but there's some jobs you sort of maybe take a few people, whereas we're a solid unit. And whether that is what we've all gone through or they've just been very lucky and we've all got on as we have. But yeah, the whole cast. Maybe
it's just a different experience, but I have found that some of my best work has been created by other actors. And it's a wonderful thing being a director. If you can get your company playing and doing fabulous work. Do you know the great thing? I get all the credit. It's brilliant. I don't know why other directors haven't learned this. I don't know why they pull their hair out. Anyway, more on that later. Now, Ollie Savile, it's time for a Show People podcast challenge.
Okay.
It is. Ollie Savile, I have a copy of your CV in front of me. I want to see how many credits you can remember within 60 seconds.
Right.
Ollie Savile.
In order or just...
I mean, if you can do it in order, I will be amazed. Ollie Savile, your Show People podcast challenge starts now.
Okay, so professionally, Joseph is an amazing Technicolour Dreamcoat. Do you want parts as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so first cover Joseph, Simeon, and then went on and did a panto in Wakefield.
Yes.
Sleeping Beauty. Prince Smorgasbord, I think it was. Then I went and did Mamma Mia International Tour, toured the world. That was amazing. First Cover Sky Ensemble. Then I went and did Monkee Business, the hit show. I played Peter Tork. Actually, that was great fun. Love that. I then went into Les Mis.
Oh, you're missing one credit I didn't know about.
Hang on. I did Les Mis, then I did Phantom, then I went back to Les Mis. Hang on. Les Mis Cats.
If I offer you pheasant,
Cats.
Cats.
Rum Tum Tugger and Cats. So I did Les Mis, Cats, back to Les Mis. Then I did Phantom, Raoul.
Yes.
First cover. Then I went and did Fiyero in Wicked.
Yes.
For 2 years. Then I did Bobby in Company.
No, you didn't.
No, what did I do after that? Oh, The Navigator at the Phoenix Theatre. Was that
something before then?
Oh my God. After
Long Lost Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Oh my God, State Fair.
You did do State Fair?
With musical theatre orchestra. That was amazing. Then I went and did some other stuff this year.
A few things you've missed out. And this is clearly not your whole CV, by the way. The first thing I want to ask about is Romeo and Juliet Deceased, the musical.
So, not dissimilar to Knights of the Rose.
What do you mean people won't know about it in 6 months' time? Yeah, so what was Romeo and Juliet Deceased, the musical?
So that was probably my very, very first professional thing, and I was 16, and that went to the Edinburgh Festival. We did it at the Buxton Festival first, because I was part of this a Saturday drama school called Rec Theatre, which is where I fell in love with theatre, run by a beautiful man called Martin Beard. And he wrote this musical, and it is Shakespeare is plagiarised from Midsummer Night's Dream. You've got Twelfth Night in there. You've got obviously Romeo and Juliet Deceased, Romeo and Juliet. You've got loads of, and it's not just the quotes, it's the story. So basically, in Romeo and Juliet, everybody dies.
Yeah.
So what happens? All the main characters die. So basically, this is them in limbo.
In purgatory.
Yeah, waiting to pass over. So Romeo rocks up, who I got to play, and he's like, where's Juliet? I'm in love with Juliet. And then they find the flower from Midsummer Night's Dream, and they all fall asleep. And then Romeo wakes up and falls in love with Paris. Paris falls in love with Romeo. Juliet then falls back in love with Romeo, because she's still annoyed that she didn't think that he.
Yeah, it was a dickish thing to do at the end of Romeo and Juliet. Bloody children.
And we've got like Rosalind, who then falls in love with Paris, and it's like a massive mashup.
So it's like sort of like EastEnders meets Romeo and Juliet meets some ethereal sort of Sartre-like play.
Yeah,
I really want to do it. It's me the right.
Honestly, I'll speak to, because we were talking about it the other day. It was at the time when I was 16, and it was mental, and it was Edinburgh Festival. We were up there for the whole 4 weeks, and it was an eye opener.
But you also missed out, which we were just talking about over a hot cup of tea. The longest title in the world, "I Wish My Life Were Like a Musical," which I saw, which I loved.
Funny enough, it's all the ones I've done recently that I couldn't remember.
And the big one is the one that is again. We'll talk about it properly. We'll have a whole section dedicated to it. But probably the job you've enjoyed most of all, which is Robert and Company.
Yeah, amazing.
Up at Aberdeen. Fabulous. Well, I will, of course, be talking to Ollie about all of his life and career and any other little cul-de-sacs we go down from his life and experience. But first, let's have a little message from this fan of the show.
Hi, I'm AJ, or Anna Jane Casey, and my life in show business is crazy. I run marathons, just for the thrill. It's flicking hard, but the challenge is brill. And then, when I collapse through my door, when I've pounded the parks, streets and more, I sit and I soak up my feet while listening to the Show People podcast with the fab Andrew Keates.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
That is not the right response in a musical theatre podcast. It's meant to be a very good place to start. Ollie, can you...
Sorry.
Thanks very much.
Smashed it.
Oh, all good. So I'm going to start. So we had a little... So Romeo and Juliet Deceased we kind of covered. Yeah. But where were you born? Where did a young Ollie Savile grow up?
I grew up on the side of a hill.
High on a hill was a lonely goat.
Yeah, there it is. Actually, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a little town called Buxton, and nowadays I just say Manchester because nobody knows where it is.
I know where Buxton is. It's where the water comes from.
Yeah, sponsored Wimbledon. So I grew up there. A beautiful part of the world, and actually I go back now and I realise that I don't belong in the city at all. But yeah, beautiful part of the world, and yeah, we've got the Opera House there. And that's when I went to what my dad used to take me to watch all the little musicals that used to tour around. Obviously, for me at the time, were massive, big musicals. Blood Brothers was one of the first musicals I ever saw. And I remember turning to my dad going, who are these people? when I was about 10.
Where did they come from?
What? Who are they? He was like, they're actors and it's their job. Worst mistake of his life was him saying that, because I was like, you can do this as a job. Well, that's what I want to do. And I was so moved by this show that I was like, that was it. And then I joined Rec Theatre, and yeah, the rest is history, really.
And what did your mum and dad do?
So dad is, I used to think my dad was an MI5 agent.
He might be.
Yeah, he might be, because
he wouldn't tell you. He'd be a rubbish MI5 agent if he did.
He can do everything. I obviously went to dad's school, because that's what happens. But we used to go skiing, we used to go sailing, always drove really nice cars, always wore a suit to work. You know, and I was always a bit like, yeah, nah, you're not a salesman.
Yeah. That would be a great cover story.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I've got to go away for a week. Got to sell some stuff. Come out of bullet holes in his
That's
bike.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's what he's a salesman. He's director of a company now who sells stuff. And mum, at the time, she used to work for an IT company, own her own IT company, which is how I got my GCSEs, really, because I had to sit them because I failed them all. I had to resit them with her, because I used to go and do year level 1, 2 and 3. So I was there with all these like 30-year-old sort of people in there going, I'm going to do my English.
Let's talk about that. Why did you fail your GCSEs?
Well, I and we slightly spoke about it before, but I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
And still am.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't tend to grow out
Never
of it.
grow out of that one. So I really struggled at school, and it was only it's about year 10, they went, yeah, you're not just thick, something is wrong. And then they were like, well, we've got this new test, bring it in. And they were like, yeah, and I'm actually hyper dyslexic. So they were
How old are you now, Ollie?
So I'm 29.
So you're 29. So you are very similar age to me. We are the generation where just after leaving school, people started going, yeah, that thing dyslexia is a real thing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
After we've left school and gone, yeah, dyslexia, dyspraxia. Thanks, education system, for considering this.
Yeah, back to school. I was in all the bottom groups, all the bottom sets with all the people who didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at school.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn. And I know that if I was in the middle and top sets with my friends, yes, it's harder, but I would have learnt a lot more than having people throw chairs over my head.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of the time, I remember going to parents' evenings going, oh my God, because I used to love skating, go to the skate park and rollerblades. And I used to go in lunch at school and then realise that it was 3:00. And I was like, oh my God, I've missed half of school. And the teachers they knew. And everyone was like, oh, Ollie's an absolute pleasure to teach. And nobody ever told mum and dad that I was never there. But yeah, it was a tough old time at school.
So where did your love of performing arts come from? Did that come from a need to sort of entertain your class, or if you were struggling in school to sort of play up to the teachers? Where does that confidence and that performer's magic come from?
Well, we were very lucky. At the time I was there, we had an amazing drama department, which they've just got rid of.
Oh, I'm hearing this all the time. It's driving me insane.
Horrendous. But yeah, so we had we had like a little studio theatre and stuff. So drama for an hour and a half a week was I was at the top of my class. And not that I knew by then that that's what I wanted to do, especially when I took it for GCSE. This is what I wanted to do. And I don't know where I was maybe quite a shy kid. I wasn't ever like, oh, look at me. I remember dressing up a lot, in Postman Pat and, stuff like that. And for my family, but never, I was never really a showy off kid. I was never, mum and dad never did this. It was, I don't know where this comes from. And now actually speaking to grandparents and stuff, great grandparents were in the entertainment industry.
How funny. Did you not know that?
No,
or have you only just discovered this recently?
They used to go in sort of World War II, they used to go and sort of do little vaudeville shows.
Where did the love of music come from?
Do you know what? I was never going to do musical theatre. I was only ever going to do straight acting. And when I even started auditioning for drama schools, Mountview, I got on the acting course at Mountview, and then I auditioned for the musical theatre. Like, it was last minute. So it was musical theatre at Mountview and musical theatre Arts Ed. Didn't get into Arts Ed, couldn't dance well enough. But yeah, I've always sung. I had a singing teacher, Claire O'Neill, when I was about 12 or 13. But I couldn't really sing. She taught me how to sing. It wasn't like a natural thing. Well, especially when my voice broke. That was all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So my love for music, I just love dramas, going back to drama school, auditioning for drama school. I couldn't study Brecht and Shakespeare at that time for 3 years. I just was like, I love music too much.
Yeah.
And there's something about musical theatre and about, when you have, when you watch a film or, Disney's probably the best example, there's something about music that just makes you go, oh my God. And I obviously always had that.
And perhaps as well with your struggles with dyslexia and being able to connect with the page, it's very different to me playing you an open A minor chord and seeing the emotional response you get from that compared to here's a speech from a lost Chekhov play. Yeah, I see what you mean. So, I suppose as well, because we were saying before we came on, we both have quite a sort of frenetic energy about us, and that tends to come from the wiring up of a dyspraxic or a dyslexic brain, but also by us speaking aloud. That's why we probably talk so much as well. It's a way of slowing down our understanding of something, rather than everybody else who just sits there, thinks about it and does it. Yeah. But then I find those people really strange. Okay, so let's talk about the Mountview Academy of Theatre Arts. Mm-hmm. Happy time at drama school?
Oh, best time. Do you know what? Best and worst time. And I say worst time.
It was the best of times. It was
the worst of times. Here we go. It was, some hard work. Like it was, you suddenly I was like, oh my God, this is what being an adult's going to be like. You couldn't pay me to go back, actually.
No, me neither.
There's no way. But
you can to get me to teach, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm just about to say, if you're listening, yes. Song press classes, here we go.
Savile is available.
Yeah, I'm available. It was, best time, met some amazing people, was finally doing what I loved day in, day out. And I was surrounded by people who wanted to do the same thing as I did, rather than, doing a BTEC and maybe 4 of you wanting to actually be there, the other 4 just wanting to get a BTEC or whatever at the end of it. And I was in a building where everybody loved theatre.
Apart from some of the staff.
Apart from some of the staff, yeah. No names mentioned there. But yeah, and worse, it was bloody hard work, and yeah.
And what did you take away from your training?
I took a lot, really. To be fair, actually, I've learned a lot more since leaving drama school. But I couldn't have got where I've got to now without it.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't take away a degree. I don't even know where that is.
It's in a box somewhere.
It's in a box somewhere. I don't think couldn't even go to my graduation, actually, so I never even picked it up. But
did you not?
No. We had the exact... This is, again, I'm finding it really hard at the moment to even get in for plays and TV, because it's like, well, you've got musical theatre on your CV, so you're a musical theatre performer.
Yeah, it's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
I have said, especially Shakespeare, and also not just Shakespeare, but other sort of Jacobean or Renaissance texts, if you want people with a more instinctive understanding of verse, put Shakespeare in the mouths of musicians and musical theatre performers, because, again, this is a massive generalisation, so take from this what you will, but there are some old school Shakespeare actors that treat verse and metre so strictly, and with so many tricks, that it is just terrible, terrible performances. But when you sometimes put Shakespeare in the mouths of musicians, and they're not necessarily doing anything other than just feeling a metre naturally, and understanding the difference between what something is, coming out of someone's mouth compared to what they're actually feeling, it's just natural.
Yeah.
Give it to... Yes, stop it, industry. Just stop it.
It's just storytelling at the end of the day. And yes, okay, I can sing and dance, but also there's your ice cream van.
Anyone an ice cream?
Ice cream, anyone?
Anyone?
Come on.
Do you know what really annoys me about ice cream vans?
What?
Because I've got an opinion on everything. 99s aren't 99p.
Not anymore.
And apparently a 99. I don't know why it's called a 99. Like, was it 99p? Because going back 20 years, that would have been really expensive.
Yeah, but
you index match it and everything.
But I remember it being 99p on the estate.
Were you an estate boy?
Well, next to an estate.
Yeah. I was a country estate. Ma and Pa used to take out the horses, and I would train the moat.
Not at all. But there was a very posh estate next to our road, actually. So,
okay. But that might stay in the show. I quite enjoyed that. So what were we saying? Yeah. So you did Half Sixpence and the Shakespeare Project.
Yes. So Shakespeare. So as in we had the same training.
Oh, yeah.
We did the same stuff as the acting department, except when they were doing stage combat, we were doing ballet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the only.
I know difference. What's more dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Ballet. Did they unitards.
Did they? Oh my God! That was just what I was going to say. I'm sure that comes from just a really old pervy teacher. Like there is absolutely no need for that particular cut of unitard. Because I went to Mountview and I went to Guildford.
Right.
I went to both Mountview and the Gay Straight Alliance. And the Mountviews obsessive, no, you need that kind of unitard. Yeah, unitards.
Well, no,
Did you buy a wedding ring as well? That stupid thing that was on the equipment list.
What?
Yeah.
It's about wedding.
That was either Mountview or GSA.
Yeah, no.
Required equipment, like obviously the 50 books, which no one has ever read, apart from geeks like me. There was that, the unitards, the endless footwear. God, Capizio must fucking love that.
They were horrendous as well.
And then and a wedding band.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was probably Guildford.
Now this is interesting, and I don't know if this is. Well, let me ask: did Shane Collins actually direct Iolanthe?
Yes,
Shane did direct.
He is fabulous, and not only because he'll be listening to this, but it was my first meeting with Shane really. And I was like, I want you to. So
you've known Shane all the way since 2009?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, because Shane was one of the first agents I met when I was very wet behind the ears and thought that waistcoats and a certain pair of glasses looked cool. So you had the chap obviously from Rec Theatre.
Yeah.
And so was Shane one of the early professionals that you came in contact with?
I was obviously at drama school, and it was in between my first year and second year.
You were allowed to work between the first year and the second year?
He came in and auditioned all the boys for Iolanthe, for Streffen in Iolanthe, because he was doing it at the Savoy Players, and it was going to go to Buxton, which is where I was from, and it was to get to work with Shane Collins, who one of the top agents in the industry. Everybody at Mountview wanted to sign with him, so it was great. So he came in and I sang for him, and he went, "You're so wrong for this part, but I loved your audition so much that it's yours." And we changed all the words from being short and stout to tall and skinny and all that, and we made it work. So I got to work with him over my summer holidays for 9 weeks, doing this. We did every Sunday, I think it was, they rehearsed, and I went in and
And was that so every Sunday whilst at drama school?
So I was just going into my summer holidays. So in between first year and second year.
So you were riffing West Side Story. Vinny is the brother, isn't he?
He's the brother. Stole the show, like.
Well, obviously. And obviously, you finish up at Mountview. What happened immediately after training? Was it, I'm in the city, lost, or I'm in the city, I'm working straight away?
No, I was, again, I say lucky, right place, right time, but we were just about to go into our showcase, which is the last thing you do.
Yeah.
And I had already signed with Shane because I've worked with him 2 years previous. So I was like, and I went to see other people, but I was like, no, because our year at Mountview, we did a showcase right at the beginning of third year as well. So we had agent interest there. Met a load of people, and I was like, no, I want to sign with Shane. So through my whole third year, I was auditioning for stuff. And I got Joseph literally a week before we started showcase. So I think we'd started rehearsals. And I got the phone call. I auditioned on the Tuesday, had my recall final on the Friday, was in Doncaster on the Sunday night, started rehearsals Monday, was in the show by the following Thursday.
Yeah, that's Ken Wright for you.
Ken Wright. So I just upped and left. I was like, guys, I've got this job and I've got to go. This was it was on the Friday, I think it was. So that was it. I was very, very lucky.
Hello, my dears. You have the ineffable and probably undeserved pleasure of listening to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates. This is Stephen Fry wishing you a wonderful listen. Thank you.
Mate, I really don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I've got to get my tips out.
That's right, here are my theatrical tips of things to see this September 2018. There's nothing like a dame at Cadogan Hall. Now, it's a bit of a cheat as it's on the 30th of August, but I don't want you to miss it. Celebrating 100 years of women in musical theatre, 4 of the most iconic West End leading ladies of our time come together for one night only as they journey through the last century of musicals. Louise Dearman, Rhea Jones, Alexia Cardine and Rachel Tucker will blow you away with their never-before-heard renditions of some of your favourite songs in a once-in-a-lifetime concert. With songs from Wicked, Les Miserables, Chicago, Sunset Boulevard, Waitress, Oliver and more, this is not a show to miss. Placed for one night only on the 30th of August, visit cadoganhall.com for more information and tickets. Company at the Guildford Theatre. Experience Company, the legendary Broadway musical as never before, starring the legend that is Patti LuPone. Director Marianne Elliot's new production of Stephen Sondheim and George Firth's musical features a woman in the lead role of Bobby for the first time ever. Rosalie Craig stars as Bobby with Tony and Olivier Award winner Patti LuPone in the role of Joanne. At her 35th birthday party, all Bobby's friends wonder why she isn't married. Why is it she can't seem to find the right man, settle down, and start a family? This iconic musical comedy about life, love, and marriage features some of Sondheim's most iconic songs, including The Ladies Who Lunch, Being Alive, and Side by Side. Plays 26th of September to the 22nd of December. For more information and tickets, visit gilgoodtheatre.co.uk. Distance at the Park Theatre. Stephen, recently separated and heading towards divorce, bumps into an old friend on the journey to a job interview. A complex recent past and a fragile present collide as Stephen tries to make sense of the world around him and his place within it. Distance is an urgent examination of mental illness and its impact on the individual, their family, and the society around them. Plays at Park 90 from the 5th to the 29th of September. Visit parktheatre.co.uk for more information and tickets. Sylvia at the Old Vic. 100 years after the first women in Britain were granted the vote, Kate Prince combines dance, hip-hop, soul and funk to shed new light on a remarkable story at the heart of the suffragette movement. Starring Beverly Knight and plays at the Old Vic from the 1st to the 22nd of September 2018. For more information and tickets, visit oldvictheatre.com.
I'm Alistair Brammer, and you're listening to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates, a man with the hairdo of a children's TV presenter and the drinks cabinet of an elderly Broadway diva.
So you leave the Mountview Academy of Theatre Arts and go straight into Joseph and the Amazing Technicolour Dreamcoat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hear it's a real gauntlet of a show. Like the amount. So how many shows is it a week?
12 shows a week.
12 shows a
2
week.
shows a day, 3 shows on a Saturday.
But it's quite a short show, isn't it? That's the one thing I'm always told you meant to clarify.
Yeah, it's a short show until you're on second show on a Saturday and you come off stage after the Mega Mix.
No, you're going to do it all again.
And they go, guys, that's your half.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, 2, 5 and 8 it was. Yeah, it was stuff.
Why do you think Joseph still entertains audiences to this day? What is it about that mad piece?
I don't know. I loved it. It was my first job out of college and I had a great time. I remember getting 3 months in and going, if this is what musical theatre is, Shane, I don't know if I can do it anymore. This is, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just it's a fun show. And you do the Mega Mix at the end. Just get out with Mega Mix.
Yeah.
I think that's what Nights of the Rose is missing.
Yeah, and the Mega Mix. Actually, that's not about. You should suggest that. You should suggest that to the creative team today. They'll love it. Just before the last show, we've got this idea. We're doing a Mega Mix. I have always heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard it from so many people, and I just love it. And I just want definite clarification. Is it true if one of the brothers is off, when they're running around the stage going, Issachar, Zebulun, that you just have to run around the back of the stage and come back on in a different hat?
So we were in Ipswich.
Yes.
And so you finish the show on the Saturday, you travel Sunday, and then you straight into Tech on Monday, like because to get all the kids in and stuff. So you literally don't stop. Yeah. So we got to Ipswich and there was a problem with the trains. I was driving, so I had a car. So we got to Tech on the Monday, because obviously people go home and go to London or whatever. So it's not far to Ipswich, but all the trains were buggered. And we got there and we got to Tech and there was 4 brothers.
Excellent.
Right. So we're getting through, and slowly throughout the Tech, other brothers started arriving. And we got to the show, like we had like 8 brothers. And we were like, right, okay, cool. So yeah, we had to, I was Simeon,
Levi.
Ruben, like literally, and you just run around and say it again. Because obviously it's da 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 da. Yeah, so yeah.
And why did you not stay with Joseph? Because from the looks of things, you were with Joseph for about a year?
No, 6 months.
6 months? Why did you leave? Was it just too exhausting?
And I think the contracts were 6 months, and I was like, I'm young, let's leave. My agent was like, let's go. There's so much stuff out there.
Great.
And I think he probably would have preferred me to have maybe not taken that job straight away and had a bit of time up. God, it was 10 years ago. I can't remember, but. Yeah, so it was like, let's go on to the next. Let's rack up that CV. So that's what I did.
And clearly, so you went from Sleeping Beauty into the ensemble. First cover Sky for Mamma Mia on the international tour,
world tour. Wow, I'm 20 years old, and I'm touring, getting paid to go on holiday with an amazing cast and a great show. Like, what a cracking show! You're on a stag do, for 2.5 hours and. Yeah, again another Mega Mix, but that at the end you're buzzing, and even when you are knackered, and it's not groundbreaking bit of theatre, but you get the feels from it. It's got magic. And
then you get onto a musical, which I've known a few people were involved in things like the workshop of it, and it's been developed and toured, of Monkee Business. So the story of the monkeys, basically, as in the
Very confusing story.
Very confusing stories of the Monkees. You played Peter Tork?
Yes. So I'd just come back from Manila with my mate, and we came back and went straight to rehearsals. That was not a pretty time in my life. But and Davy Jones passed away in that week. So then suddenly the press went nuts. We were having like crib sheets sent to us, like, don't speak to anybody when they ask, like, da-da-da-da. People thinking that they'd written this musical because he died, and they were trying to shoehorn it in. It'd been in development for years before. So it was a crazy time. And then obviously going opening in Manchester, which is where he lived. It was.
Isn't it a terrible, terrible thing? But from a producer's point of view, something so tragic can actually totally reinvigorate a show.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, show wise, I really enjoyed it.
I mean, maybe all Knights of the Rose needs is Bon Jovi to die.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsing the death of Bon Jovi. If he dies, I mean, he will, obviously, at some point, but hopefully not at the time of this episode coming out. What advice would you have for a young person coming, straight out of drama school or moving to a city about to embark on the career that you had?
Yeah, I do a lot of workshops and a lot of teaching, and I always say to young people, if you want to do this, don't do it.
Yeah.
And it sounds really, can I say wanky?
No, it's fine. You can say anything you like on the Show People
It
podcast.
sounds really wanky, but you've got to need it. Mm-hmm. You've got to really, really need it, because and we know wanting something is not enough. So yeah, that is my biggest bit of advice. And work hard. Be nice to everybody. Be nice to everybody, because you don't know who's going to be there when you're not there.
When you were touring, where were the sort of fabulous regional theatres that you got to see that perhaps people don't visit? And what do you think of working in these fabulous regional theatres?
Well, funny enough, me and Mel, my girlfriend, were talking about this morning. We were talking about Raoul, and one of her first jobs was in Raoul, and I was like, oh, you know what? I actually can't remember. Like, I've been to all these amazing places, like, I mean, Ipswich, the theatre in Ipswich is always tiny. You end up getting changed outside. But there is something really, really charming about it. And, I love Leeds. I love going to Manchester, Carlisle. I like all of Scotland, Dunfermline. I mean, where is that?
Dunfermline's never come up on the Show People podcast.
Is it not?
That's literally a first.
There you go. We rocked up to Dunfermline, and I was on Joseph, and me and my friend Will we were booking digs because it was weekly touring. And we got up there, postcode up to Dunfermline. Right, mate, where are these digs? I thought you were booking them. I was like, nah, I booked wherever we were before. And he was like, So we were then 7:00 on a Sunday evening going...
Suitcases in hand, yeah.
In the back of my little Fiat 500 going, where are we going to have to sleep in the car? And we eventually got a B&B somewhere.
What was the worst place you ever stayed in?
Worst place, and I'll tell you now, it was in South End on Sea.
Yep.
Bliss Pavilion, and we were doing Cats, and me and Mel stayed, and we were like, let's do a bit cheap. We'll go cheap rather than service apartments. Let's go cheap this week. Yeah. So we stayed with this woman, and she was lovely. The bedroom was obviously her daughter's from when she was about 7, so it was all dolls' houses and really old, antique places, right?
Yeah,
you can deal with that. We're all going to sleep here. It's fine. You go into the kitchen. I just use some cutlery. Razor blade as in like shaving your legs in with the forks.
Oh no!
Yeah, we're not staying here.
No.
That's not right.
That's right. I mean, I find the dolls thing pretty terrifying.
Yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get, do you? When you're staying in somebody's house.
It wasn't like China dolls, because I've got a problem with China dolls.
Yeah, they are a bit freaky.
Have you not seen the film The Dolls, where all the China dolls come to life?
No.
Oh yeah, they're fucking evil. They're absolutely evil.
This is Bill Deemer, and you're listening to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates.
Well, it's time for the Show People podcast platform, the part of the show where we like to give some airtime to showcase new writing. And today's work is from, wait for it, Therapy the Musical. Yes, that's right. Therapy the Musical by Ray Rackham and Jordan Lee Smith. Ray Rackham is a librettist lyricist working in London. Ray's most recent writing credits include the Arts Theatre production of the musical Judy, celebrating the work of acclaimed singer and actress Judy Garland, which has just played a sold-out commemorative performance at the Hippodrome 2. Jordan Lee Smith is an award-winning musical director and orchestrator based in London. Therapy marks his professional debut writing for theatre. Jordan's notable MD credits include the acclaimed actor-musician revival of Ragtime at the Charing Cross Theatre, for which he won the 2017 Off West End Award for Best Musical Director. Therapy the Musical is a musical comedy where the audience takes the most important role, that of The Therapist. The musical charts a year in the life of 6 individuals who enter into therapy. The childless Will and Andy have been unhappily married for almost 10 years. Warren and Joe write musicals, but their recent collaboration has led to a major falling out, and now they're obligated by the courts to undertake counselling or face jail. Karen is a wannabe sex addict, and Ralph doesn't really know what he wants. The audience follows them as the ever-silent therapist, as they try to find happiness, contentment, or, at the very least, a sense of belonging to the city that never sleeps. We're going to hear the 11 o'clock number of the show. Andy has reached the end of her tether with Will, and this is her big moment to step up and take on life on her own. Performed by Belinda Wollaston, here's So What from Therapy, the musical.
I stand afraid as I tend a broken heart, a broken vow. You were the same. The plans we made before you tore my trust apart, I know that now we're just a game. So I stopped to take a breath, to pause, and there I was back on the shelf. For no matter what may have been the cause, you only ever cared about yourself. And you know what? I cared a lot. And I know now, no matter what, the why, the how, I cannot live the life of lies you dared to give. So I am here, and you are there. Don't say goodbye, just quietly pack a bag and leave. Just draw a line and close the door. Don't watch me cry, for I need you to believe that I'll be fine, that we're no more. The embers stoked, the fires fueled the way you treated me. You fooled the girl who can't be fooled. Well, suddenly I see that's how it's meant to be. And you know what? I cared a lot. And I know now that even if somewhere, somehow, my trust returns, the lessons you forced me to learn, they leave me and take you there. And all those broken promises allow me to be free. Your disregard astonishes, but it won't define what's clearly me. Can't you see? So what? I can't pretend you care a lot, and yet somehow we've reached the end. The
Listeners can hear more about Therapy the Musical by liking their Facebook page at facebook.com/Therapy Musical. You can visit Jordan's website at jordanlee-smith.com or visit Artistic Director of the London Theatre Workshop, Ray Rackham's londontheatreworkshop.co.uk. Are you a writer, composer or artist who creates original work? Well, I want to hear from you. Please send any recordings that you have with full permission to use on the show, along with some information about yourself and your work, to info@arian-productions.com, as we're passionate about supporting new work and sharing it with our loyal listeners.
Hello, this is Francis Raoul. When I'm on my own, pretending he's beside me, I listen to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates.
Starting with, on my own, Enjolras in Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Was that sort of the big career moment for you where you felt it was like, wow, commercial West End success?
Yeah, well, it was my first West End job. I was actually first cover. So I went in before, it might be a bit confusing on the old Spotlight because I did Les Mis. So I went after Monkee Business, I went into Les Mis.
Yeah.
And I was first cover Andras for 6 months. Liam Tamley was playing Andras at the time and I auditioned for it and then Liam ended up staying. So like, will you take first cover? And I was like, no, I'll wait. And if you think I can do it, I'll wait. So I waited. And then they were like, well, actually, we'd love you to maybe do first cover and then take over when Liam leaves. I was like, brilliant. And I'm not going to be out of work. This will be great. Long story short, they ended up getting somebody else in, a name. And then I was like, cool, well, I'm going to leave. And they were like, please don't leave. And I was like, I don't want to cover anymore. And
Did you feel a little bit sort of, not betrayed, but you said this to begin with, guys.
Yeah.
And you haven't done it.
Yeah.
And I spent 6 months doing what you want me to do.
Yeah. And I did. It was my first big knockback. Big knockback. Not a bad knockback to have, but it was really, I was like, okay, cool. So we decided I'm going to leave. And they were like, no, please stay for another 6 months. I was like, no, I think it's probably best if I just walk away. So I walked away, not having a job. And then,
what is that like?
That's hard. I'm certainly not the only person who goes through it. But
No.
I didn't have to, very fortunate for me, I then got Cats, which started a week later.
As you said that, my cat just touched me on the side to go, he got Cats. That was really weird. Sorry. Toby Page, who was my wonderful cat, as we talk about cats, has just suddenly had a massive interest being like, he was the rum-tum tugger.
Or a big fur collar.
So what did you go straight in? No, because 2012, I've got you kind of doing Les Mis. Was there a break between doing Cats and Les Mis?
No,
You
so
literally
I
went straight
doubled up. Yeah, I doubled up for 2 weeks. And then I left Les Mis a week earlier than I should have to go and then go into tech for Cats. We opened up in Edinburgh. So I did that for 14 months.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes me over to the next year. And then I was about to finish that and didn't have anything to go to. And I was like, fine, cool. This is going to be the first time I have a bit of a break. So paid off my tax, paid off a load of bit of my car, sorted myself out. I was like, right, I can have a few months of not having to work or, just get a normal job.
Yeah.
And then 2 days before I finished, Les Mis rang me going, we need you back. Will you come back and first cover? And I was like, no, not really. I don't want to first cover. They're like, well, you'll get to be Andras for the Oliviers because the part is going on holiday. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but it's also still I'm not playing Enjolras. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, great for the Oliviers, but
it was only going to be 3 months, and I was like, there's nothing else. Even if I audition for something now, it's not going to start.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's better to be first cover Enjolras and Les Miserables than having to go to a miserable call centre. Yeah.
So then I got to go back and do that, and then actually was on a lot longer than I should have been. Circumstances. So yeah. So it was all in all, a lot of people got to see me as that part.
So from Les Miserables,
yeah,
bit different than Rum Tum Tugger.
Yes.
So how much dance? Because you said to me earlier you're not a big dancer. Cats has got a bit of dance in it, definitely.
Yeah. So when I got the audition, I went, Shane, are you drunk? Like, are you Cats?
Yeah.
And he went, do your research, darling. Actually, he went, do your fucking research. And he was like, have a look. It's a great part. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, fine. And I did. And I knew Cats. I'd watched it. And
was it not the VHS tape that inspired you as a young man?
No, it's not really. I don't know why. I remember watching I think when I watched it, I wanted to be Mr. Mistopheles. Unbeknown to me, it was actually the rock and roll cat that sang that song. So anyway, I sort of had a look and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is actually a really cool part. So yeah, that was it. And the rest is history. And I went in I had an audition and my long hair and sort of, got a bit beefed up as well in Les Mis and sang Go the Distance. And they
Did
were like,
you?
yeah, it's like sing it for everything.
Is that your go-to audition song? Go the Distance.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Hercules to come over.
And with Cats, so the Ramton Tucker doesn't particularly. I mean, you would have had to do the big ensemble numbers.
Yes, I did, and I had to. So I was thinking, oh my god, there's going to be a dance call. Like, there's going to be dancers at this dance call. It's not just going to be like whatever. So to my first audition, they were like, look, can you come back with the material a couple of days later, and just you don't have to learn it, just be familiar with it, and just bring some tracky bottoms. I was like, yeah, okay. Cool,
it's going to be like Bambi on Ice.
Oh, it's going to be horrendous. Anyway, so I went in and Chrissy Cartwright was there and so I sang through the material with Graham Herman at the piano and it was great fun. It was amazing. She was like, just put some tracky bottoms on. Let's just see what you can do. I was like, what, just me? She was like, yeah, it's fine. So Stuart Winter came and taught me a bit of the ball and that was it. And then we did a bit of the tugger dance to make sure I could pirouette and stuff. And she was like, yeah, this is good. Cool. We'll see you next week for the final. And then in my final, Gillian Lynne I sang and she just leant over to Chrissy and went, can he dance? And Chrissy went, yes, yeah, he can. And she went, okay. 2 days later, I got the gig. So that's my favourite audition I've ever done. Did
you, obviously, God rest the great Gillian Lynne, who's recently passed away, did you get to work with Gillian much?
Yeah, we did. Because we were the first tour that went out, I think it had been about 10 years. So we're the first sort of big, well, it's not been in the UK for a while, but it's been in Germany and done an international tour. So yeah, so we worked with her for a little bit during rehearsals and then we got to do the Oliviers when she got her Lifetime Achievement Award, which I remember stood in the downstage left wing watching her on my own in this wing ready to come on to sing my line and she was there talking and I was like, there's nobody around me. I'm literally stood the Royal Opera House watching Gillian Lynne talk about her career. I was like, wow, this is one of those pinch yourself moments.
Can you remember anything that she said to you that still keeps in your mind that you'd like to share?
She said, she didn't say anything. Well, she said a lot of things. She used to do the warm up with us.
Did she?
She used to full out, the most inspirational woman I think I've ever come across. She was amazing, and just the love for the show that she had. Just it was incredible.
Hello, this is Kim Ismay, and you're listening to the Show People podcast with Andrew Keates. And I hope you're having a wickedly interesting time.
So Wicked.
Not
my favourite show.
Okay.
I'm very open about it. But your involvement with Wicked was really impressive for two reasons. A, obviously playing the role, but also the major 10th anniversary, which was such a big deal for everyone involved who clearly love it.
Yeah.
I mean, Wicked endures, and it endures. There is absolutely no sign that people don't want to not get tickets. There's the film that they obviously want to, whenever that's going to happen. What do you love about Wicked?
I've wanted to do Wicked since before drama school. So when I was auditioning for drama school, it opened. No, so did it open? It was on Broadway.
Yeah.
Before, and then when it came over, just as we were going to drama school, it was Idina Menzel and Adam Garcia was Fiyero, and I remember going watching it and going, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's the first show I've done, and it took me 10 years to get there. And I didn't know it was going to take me 10 years. I didn't know how long. When I came out of drama school, I never auditioned for it. What I love about the show, I love how the fans are incredible and how much people can connect with it. I think as much as people's dislike for it or whatever, people, young people of our day and age connect with it. Somebody being different, and they see themselves as Elphaba, or and they see who Glinda is and what she becomes, and and I think it's really important. The people you get to meet at Stage Door are incredible. And going to the actual show, I love the spectacle of it.
But of course, Fiyero, bless him, has quite a tricky track in that he hasn't necessarily got as much grit to do, and at the same time, like we were saying earlier about playing these roles, it's very difficult to not let him be too wet whilst at the same time still having integrity. What did you find in Fiyero that you were able to find the hook into him?
So you look at it and you go, right, okay, I want to be Fiyero. Okay, I've got to be cool because everybody's got to love him. Okay. So then you go, okay, so Dancing Through Life is like everybody, love me. Okay. To play that is boring.
Yeah.
Right? It's very two-dimensional. Everybody can go, give them the eyebrow and go, yeah, okay, I'm Fiyero. And like, oh yeah, this is really cool.
And they'll feel like they're in Shrek. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, fine. But he is so much more, you can make him as complicated as you want.
Yeah.
There was actually a time and a conversation that we had where I was like, can I make him dyslexic? And they were like, what? No. I was like, because he reads a bit of the thing, right? I'm going there. And it was like, he reads, and he couldn't, because he reads his timetable, he doesn't know where he's going. Anyway, so that's where we started. We scrapped it. It was like, look, it's a bit too much. If you don't layer a character like that, it becomes two-dimensional and boring. And then you go, yeah, he doesn't have much to do. He is so misunderstood, but no, you don't get that straight away. He thinks he does fall in love with Glinda. Okay, it's nobody likes. People I've spoken to have played it before, and when we were talking about it was being directed and stuff, everyone's like, "Oh no, you don't fall in love with Glinda." He thinks he's in love with Glinda. Okay, he's told that's what should happen. He then meets this girl who's different, and he's like, well, "I'm obviously not in love with her because she's different." But there's a connection there. And then this connection is there the whole way through, and he doesn't actually fall in love with her until he's in As Long As You're Mine. And then he realizes that, oh my God, this is what this is. So to layer that up truthfully, you can't just go for the cool thing. That is a top layer of a cover. So you could, I'm going really deep and dark now, but you could maybe play him, he's a bit depressed, or he's got, or anxiety, or anything that we're all talking about nowadays, which is amazing. It's all fed through. So that's where we went. And not that I made him depressed or anything, but he's very, very misunderstood. And I remember Stephen Schwartz coming and watching and going, you found a deepness that I have yet to see in that character.
You'll take that to your grave, surely.
It's pinned on top of my tweet. So, and you go, oh, I really have, because I cared.
Yeah.
Not that anybody's played it previous or is playing it now doesn't care, but yeah. And the journey that you can, if you were just to sit in Wicked and go, yeah, I'm going to take the money and just play Fiyero, then cool. That's boring. And you're going to last a year and go, oh my God, I'm sick of this. This is really boring. But to take his arc, and there is an arc, it's not well written, but it's a bit thin on the ground with what you get to do. But if you really take from moment to moment to moment, you make it work. And I feel like I really did, and I loved it. I loved every day going into that building. I used to walk down the stairs out of my dressing room in that red waistcoat and those trousers going, oh, shit me. I'm playing Fiyero.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I loved with all the Elphabas I got to do it with and all the Galindas and everything, and the two casts.
Who were some of the cast members that you really, that you feel like you had a really great connection with?
My two Galindas were Savannah Stevens.
Yeah.
It was my very first one. And what a woman. Like, an incredible actress. I mean, yeah. So she was great. And then Susie Mavis, who came in after, I'm going to meet her after this, actually, for a little coffee. But we really connected. And yeah, and it was just getting to work with all these amazing, strong women.
Yeah.
Right through from Emma Hatton to, Rachel Tucker, like everybody I got to, it was just incredible. I'm watching these, and Alice Fern for me. So she came in as standby and then she's just taken over. So she was standby there in my second year. When she went on, I was like mind blown, wow. And then here she is now playing it and absolutely smashing it. And actually, as I hear, getting better and better and better. But, it's an iceberg of a show.
So it's interesting with all of the major commercial shows that are out there, which again, interesting, still isn't the show that perhaps you've had the most joy from recently, artistically. Of all of those big commercial shows, it's interesting when I have people who've done Les Mis and they go, oh, I listen to Les Mis every single day. Wicked was kind of the show that you were listening to, and that dream became a reality.
Yeah.
What's also the negatives of getting into the show? Because, of course, when you first saw it, it was in your mind as a cast recording on those old things called CDs. Remember them?
Negative. I've done quite a few of long-running shows. Well-oiled machines, as they call them. So there is a sense of, okay, cool, bring what you want to it, but hey, look, you've got to stand on for, and you've got to be, because of the lighting, we don't have time to be changing the light because you want to take a step out.
Exactly.
Just make it work. And I learned through Mamma Mia, Les Mis, I mean, even Joseph more than
Probably
any.
especially Joseph.
You know, that you just got to make it work. It's your job to make it work. And there will be jobs that you can be creative on, i.e. company, which we'll talk about later, you know, and I know that's a long running show. It's been done, but creatively, wow. And then there's jobs like Wicked where you go, I've just got to make it work.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a dream, it's that dream that we sit and go, I couldn't believe that somebody had given me the opportunity to play that part. And it's not even a big part. It's a song and a half and a couple of scenes.
But interestingly, so's Raoul. You know, so many other parts that you've done is in come in, impress, disappear. Oh, bring that guy back. Even the Rum Tum Tugger, to some
absolutely.
extent. Yeah. Marvelous. Well, now I'm glad we chatted about Wicked, because the show I've sort of been waiting, because I heard wonderful things. I had nothing but fabulous things about this production. You did the Aberdeen production of Company. What's it like to go from, in fairness, wearing lots of other people's well-worn shoes and tracks that have been laid down years before you've even had a chance, to then be like, right, Robert, Company, what are you going to do with it, kid? You know? Yeah,
well, this one was, I didn't audition for this. So this was the producer and Derek Anderson going, we want Ollie Savile. I think Ollie Savile would be great to do this. So I was asked to do it, and I was it's weird when you get asked to do something. It's very flattering. But you go, really? But you don't even know if I can do it yet. I'm not 35. I was 28 at the time, so I was like, well, I'm definitely too young.
And I need to get a new moisturiser if they're saying that about me.
Do you know, I mean, am I playing dads now? Is this what's happening? So that was, yeah. I mean, and then you suddenly go, whoa, the gravitas of what I'm about to go and do on whatever small scale it is like, wow. And the cast that they got were insane. Like, absolutely insane. So yeah, what a dream of a show. The way... we had a massive conversation before I started, and I was a bit like, I don't really want to do it like this and that, the other. And they were like, yeah, cool. Well, we want to take this, that. And, we had loads and loads of talks about it. And it was stunning. And I'm gutted that people didn't get to see it, because I think it was supposed to come closer to London, but because of the one that's happening at the moment, blah, 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 it didn't. But yeah, what a job.
If you had for the rest of your career, if I said, right, you're going to be in Aberdeen, you're going to be in Scarborough, but you're going to be doing Sondheim shows and new pieces and whatever, do you want to spend the rest of your life doing that? Or is it the commercial West End big shows that you want to keep doing?
That's
if finance, if the wages were, marvelous all round.
I'd prefer to be doing new, creative things any day. And don't get me wrong, I love musical theatre, and I want to do Frozen when it comes over here. Yes, I will do Wicked again. Yes, I want to be part of them. And if when Waitress comes over, and I want to do that. But there is something that I found in those, January, February, March time, doing Company up in Aberdeen, that was just magical.
Yeah.
The first part I've done that's actually had a start, a middle, and an end. And to get to play that night after night after night, and to sing Being Alive at the end of the show with the audience there with you, is just the most... I'll never forget that feeling.
Here is probably the hardest question I'll ask the whole show. For you, what is Being Alive about?
Well, the way the whole show was set was in Bobby's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this tiny little stage so it was his apartment, and it was thrown off kilter. So the apartment, so instead of having your 3 walls in the proscenium arts, we had the 2 walls, and it was thrown off. So 2 walls were missing, which hung over the audience. We had the door leading into his apartment, but then there was 5 other doors. So it looked a bit weird. So all the furniture was facing front on, but the whole apartment was jolted to one side.
So a sort of conceptual set. Yeah.
Yes. So it was all beige. So everything was beige, apart from the black sofa in the middle, right?
Wow, I'd love to see the director's face when the designer went, it's all beige.
Well, it was all projected onto that.
Fabulous.
So when we went into the park, it was like abstract leaves, and then we were in a restaurant, and it was a restaurant setting, and it was all, and then when it went into his head, which was every time Barbie, Barbie, baby, Barbie, Bobby went into his head, it was this sort of like I don't know, like it wasn't broken glass, but it was sort of shards of light. It was weird. It was in his head, and it was very much. So that's how we did it, and Derek's idea and vision was all about, and it wasn't to go, oh my God, I'm depressed, like depressed thing again, but it was about having voices in your head and those demons of like, why haven't you got married yet? Why haven't you done this? And it was, I mean, that's the way. And so being alive for me was, that it's so unbelievably clever. He changes one word.
Yeah.
So you go from, why would I want somebody to do this? Why would I want that to then, oh my God, no, the whole show then suddenly goes, I'm getting shivers even talking about it now. You go, no, I want someone to do that. And I want, within the space of a second, and the audience are there with you. So I've really not answered your question at all, but it was the most magical. I mean, I don't think I could sing it again without the show in front of it.
Yeah.
And get that, well, maybe I would, without the interjections that happen during that first verse. It's just insane. Yeah, the first time we ran it in the studio, I mean, it was like, oh shit, we've got something really special here. And that's not just my doing, that's the whole, everything coming together. Hugo.
I mean, there have obviously been all sorts of productions of Company here, there and everywhere, but I did feel for you when I heard, look, Marianne Elliott's production, of course it's going to be brilliant because it's a Marianne Elliott production. Yeah. She's the finest director we have currently working in the world. You can use that quote on your CV, Marianne, that's fine. But it must have been disappointing when you just thought, oh, could it have come over? Could it have, could that be sat in the arts theatre right now,
Or at Trafalgar Studios, I think that was the plan for it, was to go there.
Was
but
it?
Yeah, it was, God, you get used to, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
And it's on to the next. Yes, I would love to do that production again. Could we do it? Should we have gone straight away and done it straight away? I don't know. I don't know if it would work again. I think that I would have been the last professional male Bobby that they're going to have for a while anyway.
Yeah.
With what's going on.
And do you want to play Bobby again? Is there still things you want to find out about him?
I would love to play him when I'm a lot older.
Yeah.
And not because I've not had the life experience, but I think we try to set it nowadays, but you have to change so much of the script to do that.
Yeah.
We needed another 2 weeks rehearsal.
I'm pretty sure the book for Marianne Elliott's production has been totally rejigged and
completely and brought up to date, which it had, and that's right.
I also don't think that, I mean, admittedly, you are dealing with a show where people are still alive, pardon the pun, but there are some musicals I'm just like, do you know what? We can change them. Like they're pieces of art. There's some shows which have got some really racist shit in. Let's take it out.
Yeah.
It's really easy to change. It's called Word. It's called Microsoft Word, right? And just change the words.
This is West End Producer, and you're listening to the Show People podcast with the sumptuous, the savoury, and the slightly sugary Andrew Keates. Dear.
Ollie Savile, I am going to exile you on tour in Whitley Bay. I need to know what you need to survive in your dollhouse-filled digs. You will get a copy of any religious text that you so wish. You can use that for spiritual inspiration or a doorstop. And you also get the complete works of William Shakespeare. I'm going to ask you what album, film, television series, book, play, musical, and luxury item you need to survive, starting with what will be the album?
My album. At the moment, what have I been listening to so much? It changes all the time. Do you know what? It's been the Frozen soundtrack.
But you get a musical.
Oh, I get a musical as well.
So you get a musical, yeah.
Well, my album, which is actually musical now, but it wasn't when I used to listen to it, was The Bat Out of Hell, Meatloaf. Do you know what? My dad used to play it in the car all the time, and I love it. I remember doing the photo shoot for Company, and he was like, what music do you want? And I was like, I don't know, what musicals have you got on there? And he was like, no, what music? I was like, let's put Bat Out of Hell on. And we did. And he was like, oh my God, you're a different person when I play this music. I'm suddenly getting this edge. So the poster that they used, which was everywhere, is me listening to Bat Hell. So yeah, actually Bat Hell. Oh, yeah.
There's loads of Meatloaf songs that are just fucking brilliant. Like Life is a Lemon and I Want My Money Back. That is one of the most epic songs ever. Yeah, I love it.
Never heard of that. We have Nothing Sacred Anymore it finishes the end of Act 1 in Knights of the Rose. And it's...
Sorry, it's your eye twitching. Just
what you're about?
You're going to have PTSD therapy afterwards. It's going to be like, show me on the night where they touched you. You know, like...
Oh, God. Yeah, but it is a stunning song, Meatloaf. Yeah, so there you go.
And what would be the film?
My film, Hook.
I mean, it is one of the greatest, isn't it?
You have to think. Or Mrs. Doubtfire. How about Robin Williams? Anything to do with him? Yeah, but Hook, I love that.
Do you know, it's funny you mentioned Robin. I did send a tweet out the other day. Of all of the deaths, all of them, the one that keeps infiltrating my brain, I'll be sat, and then it'll just come into my mind and go, he's gone, is Robin Williams. Him and Bowie.
Yeah. He was he's just amazing. He is just still, even not being here, just what he was. But obviously we didn't know him.
No.
And that he was battling was just horrendous. But the amount of joy and movement that he brought to the world.
A film for you and the missus to watch. It's almost a kid's film, but I think it's one of the most magical films that nobody ever knows. It's called Bicentennial Man.
Okay.
And it is an adaptation. It's not animation or anything, but it's an adaptation of an Isaac Asimov story. And it's an android called Andrew. And no, that isn't why I really like it. It's an android called Andrew, and it's how he becomes a human being. I think it was based on the Asimov story, The Positronic Man. Okay. And the cast is outrageous.
Oh, okay.
Sam Neill's in it. Like, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And I want you to watch it. And I want you to text me afterwards and be like, if you're not soaked in tears and closer in love with each other after watching it, then you have no soul. Okay, what would be the TV series?
My TV series. Do you know what we've just finished watching? Is Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, it's extraordinary.
So going back to, history, but as in its dystopian future, that is happening in the world. And I just love how it's been spun back on us. I've loved every second of that.
I find it weirder that everyone can watch a show like Handmaid's Tale and go to Twitter and say how abhorrent and terrible it is and how shocking it is. And then we'll watch the news and people just go, it's not happening in the country next.
Yeah.
And what about, now I know you're dyslexic. So what book/audiobook would you enjoy?
I don't really, to be honest with you, I'm going to say this and people are going to go, what? Honestly, the last book I read was Goosebumps at school. I've not picked up a book and read. In fact, I bought one at the airport when we were going to New York a couple of years ago, and I never read it. It was a wartime book. I was like, I'll be interested in that. Never read it. What would I?
But within talking about this, I mean, there is this sort of preconception of, if you don't read, then you're a terrible human being. With your disability, which is severe with dyslexia, I mean, that's not really a surprise. It's like somebody who doesn't like spiders and going, what, you don't keep tarantulas?
Yeah. Well, the thing is with me, it's not that I don't want to read a book. I'll sit and read a book and go, I don't know what I've just read. It's not gone in. I'd have to learn it first. We, on Wicked, we did Young Writers. And so 2 years running, I read 5 stories from ages 5 to 20. And these stories were incredible. So, but we had them to read, and they gave them like a couple of days before, and I was like, and they were going to give them us a couple of days before, and I was like, no, I need this like weeks before because I'm going to have to learn this, and I can't wait to read this for you, but I'm going to have to learn it. Yeah. And I did, and I learnt them as bits of like big old monologues, and I loved that, and I was like, I wish that I had the time to be able to read. I'd have to learn a book, not to get what's that about, and have to reread it, which my brain goes nah.
And tell me, for those performers out there or creatives or whatever who do have dyslexia, what have been things that have really helped? What have been some of the strategies that you've learned to help you do the job you do?
Talking about it.
Yeah. That's
my biggest one, which I shied away from at first. And now, if you get given a script, do you know what? You're going to have to give us a little bit of time because I'm dyslexic, and unless you want to sit here and laugh, which I'm more than happy for you to do, I ain't going to get through this and give it the integrity that it needs. So,
and same for auditions.
Yeah,
I suppose it's exactly the same for auditions. Can he come in tomorrow? This is a really good reason.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, at night's fine as long as I've got a night with it, and it's looking at a fresh bit of text and it looking like the sea.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
And how
And the
does
panic.
it? Can you describe the sort of take me through that process of what you see and how you feel when you are under pressure to do something that many people take for granted, which is
read. Yeah, it's like the weirdest. It's more of a you feel embarrassed, which I've stopped doing now. But you get embarrassed and you go, and then you don't. Even when in your head you're reading it, everyone's like, it sounds fine, but in your head it's not sounding fine.
It's not clicking. It's not.
And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And you get to a word that you've maybe not seen before, and you try and break it down, and then you're just like, oh, what did we were reading something this morning, me and Mel, and I got to this word, and I was like, I don't know, I literally couldn't say it. It was a really simple word, but I can't remember what it is now, but I just couldn't read it. I literally couldn't read it until somebody told me, and then I could see the shapes of the cluster of letters together, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
And even now at the age you are, do you still go to that place of frustration, or are you trying mindfulness to try and just go, hey, it's just something I can't do? Or is it still like, no, it pisses me off to this day?
I do get a bit upset with myself, because I was always told as a kid that you're just lazy.
Really?
You're lazy.
And people said those words to you.
Yeah, like you're not that, you're just lazy. And I'm like, oh my God, trying to read at home and stuff. Yeah. So I do get, I with myself, not with anybody else, but yeah, you do go, oh, fuck's sake, like this is so annoying. But then you just feel like, oh, there's nothing I can do about it.
For most people, the most exciting day in the world is the first read through, when I can imagine that is probably
terrifying.
Your least favourite time.
Well, I'll never do a fresh read again, because I don't listen to anything going on, because you're just flicking through to see when you've next got to speak. Oh no, it fills me with absolute dread, even just talking about it.
Yeah.
But even a read through when you've sat and gone through your lines, still reading it off a page. I don't know this yet. Yeah, it's not.
And also, I suppose as well, the first thing you want to do when you meet a director or choreographer or producer, whoever's doing it, is go, hi, I'm Ollie. You definitely gave the right job to the right guy. Yeah. Rather than the first thing of going, and I suppose if you've said, which I'm sure you do, I'm dyslexic, this is difficult for me. But that still, in the society we live in, makes it feel like you're apologising for something that you should be able to do when you just can't do it necessarily the same way.
It's just a different way of learning, isn't it? And they're figuring that out now. Now in schools, it's the way they teach. They've realised that not everybody learns the same.
What would be the play?
Just watch The Jungle.
Oh, did you love it?
Oh, have you seen it?
Not yet. I've been invited to go and see it. I just haven't taken it. Go and see it,
because I think they're going to Broadway, so it goes in November. You've got to see it. People go and watch that. It's immersive. It's, oh my God, it's just stunning.
Is that the kind of stuff you really want to be doing as well?
I'd love to. Oh, yeah.
I love them. Do you really want to do a really successful Western play that's going to Broadway? I'm actually.
I'm going to say Nice to the Rose.
I'm going to do Nice to the Rose tour,
it's just... In fact, we had a cancelled show, so that's why I got to see it. So our show got cancelled because there was not enough covers in the building to cover the parts, so they cancelled the show. And I went to the box office and I said, look, we got a cancelled show, we need some tickets. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, we'll sort you out, it's fine. So we managed to get 6 tickets on the night, last 6 tickets, and 6 of us went to watch. And we sat, so they've taken out all the seats in the Playhouse, and you're sat dirt, bark, you're in this like sort of restaurant tent that is just, and they're just, it's magic as well.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing and so thought-provoking.
And what would be the musical?
It's so funny. It always depends on what I'm auditioning for at the time. It's like my favourite musical. Do you know what? Not going back to me as a kid, Blood Brothers was just, it moved me so much. It still has a special place in my heart. I'd have to go with that.
And lastly, what would be your luxury item?
My motorbike. Is that a luxury item?
Beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What is it a luxury? No, it's not. It's that. I mean, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, practical thing. I'm not going to accept that as a luxury item. I'm afraid. I'm going to give you a nice. No.
Right, great, thanks. A luxury item would be. I know what everyone's shouting, going, it would be a mirror.
Some jodhpurs and some boots.
Have I got a speaker to play my music to?
Yes, you do.
Okay. See, obviously, I'm not that materialistic.
No,
I am. I love my gadgets, but
are you a geek fiend?
Yeah, like I'll be my Xbox, but then I need a TV.
I'm
Xbox and
going to
TV
say
combo.
I'm going to say there is at least
a telly.
There's at least a telly. You
Do
can
you know
have
what?
an Xbox.
It would be my Xbox. Although it's been a while since I've properly played on it, but yeah,
I think
lost a few days to that machine.
I mean, I am also a gamer, believe it or not. Yes, you should see you on Assassin's Creed. People think it's an absolute joke when it's like, you play PlayStation. Yeah.
But I feel it's like, it's a skill set to play Call of Duty.
But also, do you know the thing? And this really pisses me off. There are some games out there, the artistry, and the likes of Us, for example, is one of the most beautiful games. Yeah. And yes, it is a game. But artists make it, actors voice it.
Yeah.
What would be on the one game that you would take with you?
It'd be probably Call of Duty.
Which one?
Online. So either one from the Infinity War saga, not the Black Ops.
Yeah,
but it would be the World War.
I'm really laughing because Black Ops is just in every CEX in game is like $2.99. We can't even give it away.
I mean, they're good to play for a little bit, and then you're like, that's boring. But yeah, probably the World War one that just the recent one. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, and maybe this is a new category I need to add. What game?
Yeah.
So, because some people obviously say Monopoly, and some people will say Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Ollie Savile, you have changed the format of this episode from there on.
Hi, I'm Alexis Jarrett, and you're listening to the Show People podcast with the brilliant Andrew Keates. And I mean that, and not just because he slipped me a cheeky 20.
Well, it is time for everyone's favourite part of the show. Funny 5 minutes.
Oh.
Ollie Savile, you must answer all of the questions I'm about to ask you as quickly as possible within 5 minutes.
God, this is when I get myself into trouble.
Yeah. You are only allowed 3 passes, so use them wisely, as you have no idea what I'm about to ask you, but you do get 3 passes.
Okay.
So, Ollie Savile, let's play Funny 5 minutes. Ollie Savile, what is the best gift you've ever been given?
As in just at stage door or just in life?
Anything in life.
Best gift I ever got was my Dyson Hoover. Thank you, Melissa James.
Is it a cordless?
No, we've got an animal now, which is stunning. So yeah.
Can you show me the last picture you took on your phone?
Oh, it's one of me in the dressing room, look.
Ollie Savile's just taking a picture of himself. Amazing.
There's not thoughts on there, is that?
What is the worst note you've ever been given by a director?
Be better.
Be better. You're going to love my sign out on this episode. What podcasts are you listening to at the moment?
My dad wrote a porno.
Isn't it brilliant?
Yeah.
What is your favourite theatre?
Going Buxton Opera House is stunning. Like, it's a matching theatre, it's beautiful. But my favourite theatre, oh my God, I don't know. They're all amazing.
Is it a pass?
It's a pass.
It's a pass. If you were a superhero, which you clearly are, what would be your superpower?
What would be to fly? I don't know, everyone probably says that, but there's something about
everyone says fly, but everyone really means like invisibility. Yeah. Perverts.
Mind reading.
Super pervs. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
You're wrong.
Sorry, Star Trek.
Star Trek is just better. You're not impressionable at all. Sum Donald Trump up in one word.
Dick.
Dick is the right answer. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
How many pairs of shoes do you own?
Too many. Maybe 11.
What would be the title of your autobiography?
We came up with this the other day as well. And what did somebody say? It would... I don't know, probably Can't Read.
If you can read this, you can read more than I can, by Ollie Savile.
Yes.
Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
100 duck-sized horses? That's brilliant. Yeah, 100 duck-sized horses.
And the logic for that answer, why?
100 duck-sized horses because they're a bit smaller.
They are smaller, but I mean 100 en masse.
Yeah, but still a duck, like, that's a big duck.
Yeah, but they're teeny tiny hooves. True
that.
Have you ever pissed yourself on stage?
No.
Who is the most beautiful person you've ever kissed?
Melissa James.
How do you like your eggs in the morning?
Scrambled.
And are you an early riser or a night owl?
I'm an early riser.
Stephen Sondheim or Andrew Lloyd Webber? Stephen Sondheim. What is the world's greatest swear word?
Can I say it?
You can say it if you like.
Yes!
If you ordered a pizza, what would be your order?
Everyone's going to be like, that's disgusting. Charcoal base.
Charcoal base?
Oh my God, it's sensational.
What is a charcoal base?
So it's charcoal bread, but it's charcoal within the sourdough or whatever it is, but it's not. It's amazing. You don't even need butter with it. It's amazing. It's really tasty. It's a little pizza place around the corner in Forest Hill, does it? It's a charcoal base, obviously tomato cheese. I love a bit of broccoli. It's weird, isn't it? And then salami.
And what's that type of pizza called? Is it called a Savile special?
It is, but they go, oh, okay, we know who you are.
Oh no, but I suppose the name Savile as well might just imply a little bit like, Ollie fixed it for you. If you're an animal, what animal would you be?
I would be a bird. It's flying.
What kind of bird?
Hummingbird.
Be a hummingbird. What is your favourite sport?
My favourite's skiing.
Skiing.
Not that I do that, because that's my contract notes.
Have you actually got? It's what even Thanks to the Rose have said you can't play.
Well, it's on every contract, isn't it? It's not called skiing. It's called snow yoga.
Snow.
Mountain flower picking.
Well, sadly, that noise tells me that is the end of the show. Before we go, just a few parish notices. Firstly, well done to Jordan Lee Smith and Ray Rackham for sending in their song from Therapy, the musical. But ladies and gentlemen, please go mad for the one, the only, Mr. Oliver Savile! Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, by the time this goes out, it will Night to the Rose will have closed. So, to anybody who's listening from the show involved in it, I hope you had a wonderful last night, and good luck with everything else that you're going to do.
Thank you.
But more importantly, Ollie, how on earth can people keep up to date with all that you're up to?
Keep on Twitter and Instagram. It's definitely out there.
What's the username people should use?
At Oliver Savile for Twitter and at Ollie Savile for Instagram. 1 L in Savile.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Keates. You can follow the show at ShowPeopleUK and use hashtag ShowPeoplePodcast. And you can send me an email to info@arian-productions.com or like the Show People Facebook page at facebook.com/ShowPeoplePodcast, where you can join the listeners forum and talk with other listeners to the show and discuss the issues that have been raised in today's episode. You can also follow us on Instagram. Oh yeah, we've got with the times. For some inspirational memes and for images of Ollie Savile and my cat, go to Instagram. Show People Podcast. It's great. This podcast is produced by Arian Productions Limited, dedicated to giving opportunities to theatre makers. If you enjoyed the show, please take just 2 minutes to leave us a teeny tiny little review on iTunes, as that really helps us reach more people who love the performing arts. If you'd like to continue to receive this free fortnightly podcast, and there aren't many things in life that are free, please visit arian-productions.com/shop or arian-productions.com/donate to find things you can buy to support Arian Productions, as well as make donations. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me a review, and support the fabulous Show People podcast. Thank you for listening, and until next time, just be better. What is the worst practical goat? not practical goat.
Hi, Ollie Savile here. And the trouble with schools is they never listen to the People's Podcast with Andrew Keates, who's an absolute legend.
I mean, it's not the People's Podcast because I'm not a communist.
But I also paused.
It's like working with William Shatner. The People. The show.
The show tune.
The show People. I think.
That's it. That's
You're Iris
the
Murdoch.
What is that?
She was the one who got dementia and lost her mind.
The show tune.
The Show People. It's all right.
The Show People podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I've read it before I came in here, so it's just in case I had to say it.
Shall I write it in really big letters?
With yellow.
Like.
The Show People. Hi, Ollie Savile here. And the trouble with schools is they never listen to the People podcast. Fuck off.
I'm going to use that version. Hi, this is Ollie Savile here.
Fuck off. One more time. Ready?
Thank you very much.
Hi, Ollie Savile here. And the trouble with schools is they never listen to the show. Fuck off. You can use that other one. It's absolutely gone. One more time. Hi, Ollie Savile here. And the trouble with schools is they never listen to the Show People podcast. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm done.
But I've got enough there that I can cut that bit and that bit. I mean, you did one really clean take, which is fine. I am very tempted at the end of this, because at the end I always put an outtake in. I think I really might have. Just a Ollie Savile here. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing.